ne pas pousser pour un nouvel accord interprovincial au lieu de demander à la Cour suprême?
C'est parce que il y a déjà eu des discussions à l'époque où on était au gouvernement. Certains gouvernements n'étaient pas friands de ça. La réaction du Nouveau-Brunswick d'aller en appel dans ce dossier-là nous amène à penser qu'ils sont peut-être pas prêts à le faire. On aurait pu s'attendre que la province, puis je juge pas la décision du Nouveau-Brunswick, je fais du fédéral, ils font du provincial, mais ils décident d'aller en appel, donc c'est pas tout à fait l'ouverture que nous attendons pour être capable d'ouvrir. On pense que ce serait la meilleure façon, mais dans le contexte actuel, avec le jugement qui vient de se passer et l'appel de ce jugement-là, ça nous démontre que les provinces ne sont peut-être pas toutes prêtes à aller dans ce sens-là, mais on veut vraiment prendre le meilleur moyen pour y arriver. Et si les provinces sont d'accord, qu'on le fasse, qu'on aille une entente et qu'on avance.
Yeah, sort of the same question. Does it make sense to keep pushing for an enhanced AIT while you have this decision outstanding?
Well, I would just simply say that we have a real opportunity here that wasn't available before the Comeau decision was made available. I've been on the record for supporting any cooperation with all levels of government to reduce red tape and to support Canadian jobs. But that is a very good question because any new deal, whether it's a good deal or a bad deal, there'll be questions on the constitutionality. That's bad for industry. We all know that business needs certainty. And so in this case, that's why we're thinking that the Conservative Party has suggested that the Liberal government should elevate this to the Supreme Court and have those very important questions answered.
Do you not worry that you're referring too many things to the Supreme Court in absence of Parliament making judgments on its own?
So actually, that's a very good question, Dale. Originally, there was a decision in the 1920s called the Gold Seal case, which narrowed the view of Section 121 in its application. Since that time, we have seen governments of all levels, provincial and federal, take in and absorb that space. And what we've seen is exactly what we have today. More trade barriers, less growth. And again, with foreign direct investment leaving the country, we want to see our domestic industry be able to scale up and compete and offer more choice and better prices to consumers. So getting rid of these trade barriers is important. But again, the whole point of our discussion today is this started in the 1920s by a court decision, and it needs to be reviewed and ruled on today.
You talk about a lack of political will that the Liberals have had. They've only been in government 7 months. You guys had 10 years to bring down trade barriers. You didn't do it. So what do you think that they can do that you guys didn't do?
Okay, well, first of all, again, my bill, the government supported, which, again, changed the 1928 Importation of Intoxicating Liquors Act. They also added both beer and spirits. We also saw changes to labor mobility, so we added more to the agreement on internal trade. And ultimately, former Minister James Moore was able to get provinces. Now, this is key. The provinces themselves, through the premiers at the Council of the Federation, agreed that they would have a new deal in place by March 31st of this year. That was something that provinces did, and that's because we were a very supportive government to help them, encourage them to look at it. Now, Mr. Trudeau, in Vancouver, in March, instead of talking about the agreement on internal trade and using his political capital, and be mindful, he said during the election that he would be the one to be able to create a whole new era of provincial-federal relationships, to the point that he's now appointed himself as the Minister of Interprovincial Relations. And when they met in Vancouver, he ended up scotching any further progress on this deal by talking about a very divisive issue for many premiers, and that is, of course, carbon. So instead of talking about the agreement on internal trade and getting agreement from our political leaders to finally resolve this issue from a perspective of each other working together, that's the disappointment. But ultimately, whatever deal, because of this new decision, this, again, it comes down to the constitutionality of our current framework, and that's what we'd like to see.
Monsieur Lebel, justement, vous avez eu 10 ans pour régler ce problème-là, pour permettre plus de commerce entre les provinces. Je comprends que vous avez entamé le processus puis que ça devait se terminer en mars, mais Pourquoi ne pas l'avoir réglé plus tôt?
Parlons d'aujourd'hui. Parlons des dernières années où ça a avancé considérablement. Et bien sûr, on était conscient des enjeux de constitution, de respect des compétences des provinces. On est rendu là aujourd'hui, on avançait bien. Oui, effectivement, on était là 10 ans. On a réglé beaucoup de choses. Celle-là était dans le processus pour être réglée. Nous pensons qu'aujourd'hui, elle doit être réglée. Nonobstant, c'est les libéraux qui sont au gouvernement. Faites-le. Nous, on avait entamé le processus. Et bravo, on vous applaudira si vous le faites et vous le faites comme il le faut. Et dans ce sens-là, pour nous, il faut trouver une solution aujourd'hui. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.